Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to this platform talk on the occasion of this year's festival exhibition entitled Moonbag by the artist Tori Wrånes. Yes, one more applause. Okay, thank you. My name is Kjersti Solbakken. I'm the director here at Bergen Kunsthall, and we are really pleased to see so many people here, packed to the maximum capacity. So thank you, and thank you for everyone following us also on the streaming. Thank you in particular to Tori for being here with us today and for generously sharing your thoughts with all of us. And the exhibition is curated by Silja Leifsdottir, who will lead today's conversation. Before that, I will give some practical information and a few acknowledgements. This talk will last for approximately 40 minutes with the possibility for questions after. Restrooms are to my left and emergency exits down the stairs where you came in or through the door on my right side. So follow the signs. The festival exhibition in is Bergen Kunsthall's flagship exhibition, established in 1953, and in connection to the first edition of the Bergen International Festival. So each summer we present a large-scale exhibition with new work by Norwegian artists. None of this could be possible without support and the collaboration, So we want to send our deepest appreciation to the supporters of this show. Westfold Larsen en hustru Anna Westfold Larsens allmennyttige fond, Bergesen-stiftelsen, Fond for lyd og bilde, Art Council Norway, Norske kunstforeninger, Brynildsens legat, and EGE Carpets for supporting their exhibition. And we also want to thank our regular supporters for operational support, the Ministry of Culture, Bergen Municipality, and Vestland County Council. And a big thank you to everyone in Studio Wrånes and all the helpers and collaborators who is behind this incredible installation that we have downstairs. As many of you are here with us today, I just want to add that you have been such a warm, fun, and incredibly skilled and inspiring group to work with, so thank you for that. And last but not least, I want to thank everyone here at Bergen Kunsthall for their contribution to the show, and a special thanks to the live team for making this particular event happen. So Henrik, June, Sofia, and Ingvild, thank you so much. The exhibition is running until August 17th, so please revisit and bring your friends. And as a last little comment, I just want to add that in parallel with Tori's show, we also present an exhibition by the artist Rinden Johnson. So thank you to Rinden, and thanks again to curator Silja Leifsdottir for the complex, layered, and a beautiful show in Gallery 5. So I will now hand over the word to Silja, but before that, a short introduction. Tori Wrånes lives and works in Oslo, and her works have been shown at venues including Accelerator, Stockholm, Performa 13 in New York, Lilith Performance Studio in Malmö, the Sydney Biennial, Thailand Biennial, and Palais de Tokyo in Paris. And along with Clara Kristolova and Benjamin Orlow, Tori Wrånes will represent the Nordic Pavilion at the 61st Venice Biennial in 2026. So, yes, big applause.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me okay? Super. Hi everyone, this is such a pleasure. We will do this talk in English, if that's okay with everyone. Men velkommen alle sammen. Det så hyggelig å ha dere her.
So far.
So we have, because we do have also an online audience, and I'm sure that many of you in this space has been downstairs to see the exhibition, but some have not, and also we have guests on the other side of this camera that have not been to Bergen and seen the exhibition. So what we did is that we prepared a little slideshow as well, so that it's also easier for me and Tori to use that as like visual keynotes to talk through the exhibition and some of the works. And then both me and Tori are really happy for questions also in the end. So please don't be scared to do that. And then also my colleague will have a little mic to pass around. So if you have questions afterwards, it's super nice if you want to use the mic, because if not, the people on the other side of the camera that we can't see will not hear the questions and only the answers, and that's also a bit strange sometimes. So thank you, everyone. This is so nice. I will start with a short introduction to how I met Tori, actually, and see if this works. Okay. So I first had the pleasure of working with Tori 10 years ago. That was in relationship to an exhibition called What Remains at Fotogalleriet in Oslo. It took its starting point from the Golden Records, which is an archive sent into outer space in 1977 with the Voyager spacecraft, and it was initiated by NASA. It was meant as a message to extraterrestrial life, aliens, which NASA still believes in, by the way, or perhaps to our distant descendants, a sonic and visual archive of human life on Earth. It was 44 languages, animal sound, images, and music. It was a dream of universal communication. The project explored that dream and its failures. It looked at communication across species, mistranslations, and mishearings. Initially, Tori's idea for this project, when I invited her, was to use moving images and sound, exploring this form of universal language. Due to pragmatic reason, this was not possible, so Tori introduced me to this wonderful artist called Claire Millage that made a text work at the window of Fotogalleriet that you can see here. And then Tori performed or recited the text work on the day of the opening. The work was based on Tinder profile text set to global mode, paired with human interpretation of bird calls, transformed into poems across the window of Fotogalleriet. It was about desire, misunderstanding, humor, and longing, all in the friction between what is said and what is meant. And I think of that work again, here, standing inside Moonbag, because Tori's work often begins with where language ends, or slips. It operates outside grammar, outside clarity, in a space where meaning is felt rather than named, where sound, bodies, objects, and rhythms speak in ways that words cannot. So today, rather than trying to explain too much, we'll follow that space of openness, and we'll talk about sculpture and sound and play and rhythm, but mostly we'll let the works themselves shape this conversation, and we like to hear questions from the audience as well, who is the key in how this exhibition in the end is perceived. So that's where we begin, and I think what we'll do is that we'll just go through some slides, and then Tori, you can help us to maybe stop at some of the works, and we can talk about them as we go along. And then I have some questions, but we'll just sort of see where this goes. Okay.
Yeah. This morning when I woke up, I felt like the face was like half a meter outside the real face, you know. And then I thought like, okay, maybe I have to prepare something smart to say. But then I said, no, I don't, because I think words is not my main language. And that refers to what you said. And that feels good to tell you as well.
So in a way, this thing here is a paradox, but we'll do it.
But yes, and it's so nice to see so many of you.
Yeah,
it's really great to see you.
Yeah,
thank you for coming.
Okay, so everyone here has seen the exhibition, I hope, but we'll do a little revisit. So maybe we could start while I show some slides that we know now that the exhibition is titled Moonbag. And what is it that we're actually entering into, you think, when we enter into this exhibition?
Yes, I mean, I don't know. And I think that is what I like, that I don't know the answer to that. And it's up to the audience what it can be. And so I think for me it's it can be Like it can be. I had this idea that I wanted to put this building on water, and therefore the oars are there. So, and that is just like moving the natural structure of it somehow. And then if you put it on water, then it floats, and it can be something else than this regular building. And then suddenly maybe some new rules can appear, or so I think it's about this playing with fantasy, and we don't know who's like holding those oars, and we don't know where we're going, but at least something is happening and something is moving. But it was nice. Yesterday I talked to someone, Kira, the curator of Craft, right? Yes. And she said something like, maybe it's, no, she said something, and then my friend Chris said, no, it's the oars coming out of the ears or something. But I think I really like that kind of, because in a way this moon bag is this kind of space, a bag. You have something inside and you have something outside. And it's the same with the brain in a way. There's something in here, and then you got something out there. So it can also just be like super private or personal. But then you can make it larger or deeper or whatever, and suddenly it can be about like who's leading Norway or who's leading Earth, or how do we keep it together and not, or like where are we going? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, but if you notice in this handout and the list of works, this the oars are not described as sculptures, but a performance. And I think that's, and I think that's something that you're now talking about. So in our head, we have to imagine that.
Yeah, because actually every night someone is coming to row, and they row. That's true.
It is. After midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. No, but I also like this, that fantasy has no hierarchy. It's just accessible in the same level for everyone. And that is something I also think there's a lot of hope in fantasy. Also to rearrange those natural structures that we are born into. So I find to work with fantasy and all these unwritten truths really attractive to work with. Yeah.
Okay, so I have to, since we have this picture up, there is something we don't see on these pictures, which is the sound. It's invisible in the images. And maybe could you do us the honor for, let's pretend that you were to describe the sound for someone that can't hear it. Can you just tell us a little bit about what the sound is in the space, which I think is a monumental part of this work, actually. So it would be great. Maybe you want to describe what you can hear, the different aspects, and a little bit about how it moves.
No, I think it's. I work a lot with improvisation. Like, so I don't plan. It's more like just open up the movement, and I work a lot with like non-verbal text, because that is not distinct. It doesn't describe like exact what it is, but it reflects like a temperature or an emotion or like something in the body. And this is like from the theater, you know, the gibberish, like, and then like the scatting in the jazz that has like this, you know, and then it's more like finding an own way to work with this. And then I think of sound very much like sculpture. So when I sing, I put sculptures into space. And this is very much related to not a verbal language, but rather like an abstract language, a verbal language. I mean, is it correct to say? I don't know. You understand what I mean? Yeah, okay, cool. And then I like to play with sound in the space, almost like, I think of it almost like a drawing. So it's like, because it's invisible, but it's still so physical. And then to play with it, like going from one side to the other, like this, there is this like this answer and respond. And I think this is also reflecting some of the carpet that has this contrast in it, like, and then also the voice. I work with like one voice that is just like the real voice, like my natural pitch, and then I love to pitch it down. So that I have like this 1 octave down, and then I feel in a way that maybe I can. It's the voice of some of these gigantic humans in a way, and that feels also like nice to just play with this. That is, it doesn't have to be beautiful or something, but it's, I don't know. It also has like the same contrast as. Like this light color and dark color, both formally on the carpets, but also in the voice and in the spatial movement of the sound, and also in the cat and the dog. But this I liked also because, or maybe you should say something.
No, I'll show pictures.
Okay.
But I can show some pictures while you talk. It's great when you talk, and then you just pretend I don't do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, because last year I did this commission for Carte Blanche, which is a dance company, a dance troupe. I love to call them a dance troupe. And then I worked a lot with cat and dog, and hi, Gulli. Yes, we worked together there, and you're also there, yes. Now I cannot forget anyone if I see someone else. Okay. But it was about like the cat and the dog and the power structures. And I think I often work with these kind of very typical images, but and sometimes maybe they can appear naive, but I guess it's to try to talk about something that I don't have the words for in a very complicated way, or and so this year I thought that I should like add another thing to that power structure, like to try to open it up, because I think it's not necessarily, or it's a bit tightening to just operate with like two opposites. So I added this mouse. So now it's like the cat and the dog and the mouse. And I think I really do believe in all these possibilities that lays in the unknown in a way. And and of course this is a reference both to gender, like gender identities. I think it's unbelievable that we cannot make it more easy for trans people to have a natural life, or that we make it so difficult. I mean, there is no evilness in choosing for yourself what kind of identity you want. And this, I think, this cat and dog and mouse, personally I relate a lot of this to that, but also other things. And also it's interesting if we ask ourselves, what kind of gender do we think the dog has, or like what kind of gender has the cat? And of course the cat has probably all kinds of gender identities. I don't know, but I think we are in a unconscious level, we refer to, like, I think it's very easy to think that the cat is a woman maybe, or the dog is a, I mean, we have all these ready-mades, like also with the fork and the knife. It's kind of like a little bit of the same. And sometimes when I make dinner or something, I put like I give people like 2 forks and 2 knives, and then because it kind of creates just a smooth landing, because we are so used to eat with 1 knife and a fork. And of course it's practical, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just a small, I just put this up here since you talked about it, but also since you talked about improvisation with the sound, an observation of mine now getting to know you better is that now when you talk about improvisation, when you made the sound, I think that that's also a method that you use across all materials, not only with the sound, but seeing you work, it is improvisation there and then, and you're just doing and working it from it. And it's also a love for materials. So you can see in the exhibition that you work with a variety of materials. And maybe you want to say something about either where it comes from or just this love and passion for all the different,
I really feel that it's all about rhythm. Like everything is about rhythm. And then I really love material, like these different materials. And I actually had to, so for me, it's more like this dynamic map in the head. Like, okay, what do I need to get this idea done? Or like, because when I was younger, I was in this rock band, and I lived in Wrånes, like in Kristiansand, and I could not leave the city because we had our rehearsal local there, and so then I studied to get a studio loan. What do you call it? Loan to study. And then I studied like all the different artistic stuff I could study in Kristiansand. So I did like music and theater and arts and crafts before I did my master at the Kunstakademi. But that made me really like I can if I need to weld, I can weld. If I need to saw something, I can saw it, and all of this. But so in the beginning I did all that myself. So I know what we need to, like I know the time it takes to do it, but because now the production is so more massive, I need help to actually get everything done. And then I have these amazing people that I work with. Yes, that is Antti and Inti and Santi.
Yeah.
I love, it's a poem. And Tone, and Mari, and Anne. And also everyone at the Kunsthall, Dan and everyone. It's been so nice to work with you. But you had another question.
No, I just wanted to put it. I have a picture of a few of them here, so that was nice. Yeah. This is from your studio, actually, and there is some of the fantastic people that you work with.
Yes, they are amazing. I think it could not have been possible to do all of this alone, of course. And I think also I say this a lot. Like I try to, I make jokes that it's so chaotic and all this, but actually I think it has a lot to do with trust, because sometimes everything is just in the brain, and time does not allow me to make final sketches, and to make to try to have time to explain properly. But now we have worked for so long that they that this trust that they accept that they don't know exactly always why we are doing this. That is really valuable to work with the same people over time, because actually it's not so chaotic. It's just that there is no time to always explain all the details, but it's here. I promise you.
No, but I think this, the fact that you have worked with so many people for such a long time, it also, when you talk about improvisation and rhythm and reading, and I think that's also what you have an incredible capability to do with the people around you. So you also sort of do the same with us, as in everyone has been around you, in being able to read us and improvise with that and make it a rhythm, which is incredibly difficult. Communication, people, it's hard, we know, but you're so good to it, and I think you transfer what you do with your art. You transfer that to the way that you work with humans around you. But that's just my observation from working with you. You don't have to comment on that.
But that was really nice.
But
I think actually what I work with is social choreographing. Like I think that all the people I work with, and just the process, I love the process so much. I love the process, and like, yeah. So I think it's really a social sculpture, parallel with like what we see in the show. So it feels just like, yes, I'm so interested in humans.
Yeah.
We are so complex.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are so difficult and easy. Yeah, like we are the carpet. We are like, yeah.
Maybe that's, you told me also that this multidisciplinary versus transdisciplinary, that you feel that it's more, what you do is more related to transdisciplinary as something. Do you want to say just a super quick thing about that? Because I think it's related to what you're just saying now with everything and people. And
I think I often get described like, because I work with theater and music and visual art, I think people say like I'm a multi-artist, and that's okay. But it was just after another show I did, someone came to me and said, but you are not a multi-artist, you're a trans, no, not trans artist, you're not a disciplinary art,
multidisciplinary.
Okay, let's take 5 minutes break. You don't work multidisciplinary. You work transdisciplinary, and I really love that because it's not, for me, it's not like sound, movement, and image is separate. It's like one thing. It's really, for me, it's like the voice goes like this, zoom, zoom, and the carpet goes like this, boom, boom. And for me, it's really like a cross that goes both ways. It's a physical movement, and therefore I think transdisciplinary is a really nice description because it's not like parallel things. It's one dynamic map where the volume can be turned up, like visually or movementally. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I mean. And and soundly. Yeah, like it's really
Since we have, I know that since we in the questions we can we can dig into some of the different works if you want to, but I just wanted to also say this is my mobile phone image from yesterday, which was the first day I had the possibility to actually sit and be in the exhibition, because you know how it is. We've had event after event after event, and it's been so many people in the space that it's been hard to really feel the works and especially hear the sound. For those of you who's been here at the openings, you couldn't really hear the sound, which lasts for about 45 minutes. And then yesterday I had a moment where I could be in the exhibition for an hour for the first time with not so many people in. And I took this picture, and when it's not an opening, what happened was that people started to just sit down at the floor, and it was like 10 to 15 people, and people started to whisper. And there was some tears and it was just this amazing moment where I, for the first time, also could hear and be part of this work. And I sat there, and the sound is quite melancholic in a beautiful way. And then what happens, for those of you who knows, there's a wee. And it is this shift of, and it comes once in a while. So it is this mouse that we all been charmed, and we all love the mouse. It has this amazing personality that makes us all. I don't think I've seen a single person coming into the space being able to like not smile when they see that mouse. But then you have this contrast of the melancholic that happens because of the space and the carpet, and you sit there and you get dragged into the sound of the Concilian All-Stars, like it sounds like a tåkelur, but it's a konkylie. You can talk more about that if you want. And it's these 45 minutes where it's also you sing, and then it's air and breath. And I feel like I'm inside of stomach of a whale, but some other people think it's different for everyone. But what happened to me was that because of the mouse, it is this shift of being sort of dragged into something which is quite serious. And then you get dragged up again by wee, which is actually this ambivalence and this contrast that I think is so beautiful, that goes through actually all of your works. But sitting there yesterday, this sort of, because that's how every day is in a little bit. And to me, the mouse is also like time. It's like it struggles in some hills sometimes, and it's like, oh, it's Monday again. And then it comes, and then it goes, and then it's like, Friday! And then it goes again. And then it's like, it's an hour or a day or a month, and things repeat, and you have to do things that are boring, and sometimes you have to do things that are fun. And it's this mouse that just goes, and it's like time. But it is also this sort of optimism, and the title of the mouse is Optimism, that comes. But then it is also the seriousness in all the other things. And it is this what happens to us every day, I think, that we have moments where everything is just incredibly like sårbart, and feelings of avmakt. Sorry, my English is slipping a bit. But then it is also moments where you can't necessarily be in that all the time. So you get dragged up, and it's just life and joy and dance. And I think that's kind of a moment that I think was beautiful yesterday, that you get if you spend some time. So I would just urge you all to sort of also take that in and spend some time to the sound. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot about this this extreme privilege in today's situation. Like, I can go to work every day. Like, we know we are not afraid of die every day. We can plan that we are going to work next day. Like, I can plan that I will meet someone the next day, and we can do something. And this privilege is sometimes, I really feel connected to what you're saying, because it's really brutal when you go and you take a shower, and you expect the water to be warm, and it is warm, and then the trucks are stuck and can't get in with food. And this, how you deal with, like how to also allow yourself to be happy and not and still try to also have a voice and try to make a difference, and without maybe having the right words to say it. I think it's really I'm not like a spoken political person, but I think maybe that's why I make the work. Of course, it is about this ambivalence and this duality, and I think those big mouse holes that were there, I think it's like because there is these small mouse holes, and then there are the big mouse holes, and maybe we are the mice, and someone is kind of out there taking decisions for us, but we still have the power to say something, to do something, and to be active. And I know there's like a demonstration today at 3. I didn't read more about it, but I know there's like a Free Palestine demonstration. So I will try to reach that. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also so complex, and how to have this privilege.
Yeah.
When someone else obviously do not have it, and how to deal with it.
I think it's a nice transition to when this is a long time ago when we started to talk about works in the different spaces, and then it was what we call Gallery 4, which is all the way in the end. And at the beginning we talked about maybe it just needs to be a tech room, because we know we're going to have a lot of tech and we need to hide it somewhere. But then you said or it could just be like some mice having a rave party. And I was like, yeah, or it can be that. Which also was this, a work that really sort of stood out to me was this. I hope you all have. It's hard to take pictures of it, as you probably know. So,
Oida.
Oopsie. Yeah. So, but there is this hole that you have to. I'm just explaining this for people that haven't seen it, and that you have to lie down and kind of become a cat, or you have to lie down in the position of maybe not the most comfortable position, but and peek into this place. And I also took this picture because I wanted to let people know also that this is not animated mice, but this is actually just from a work in progress. This is actually like a full size. Maybe you want to just explain that a little bit so that people know, since we have the chance.
Explain the mouse.
Yes, or how it's made, just quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I had an intern that was helping me. So we built the mice in foam, and then I worked with the dancers. Suleka Ali Omar and Tone Kittelsen, and we put on some rave and we did some dancing. And yes, and then I guess we did like the opposite. Sometimes I sculpt things very small to get like to get it how I want, and then I can scale it up later. Like, but it was like more like filming the performance and then scale it down. Yeah. But of course, I would say that those mice are real. Mm. They are mice for real.
They are.
Yes.
And I find this work like both humorous and airy and strangely moving. And when we talked about it, it made me think of this quote that I thought it was okay with you, then I will, because we also discussed that when talking about this work by Dan Savage. So here's the quote. During the AIDS crisis, we buried our friends in the morning, we protested in the afternoon, and we danced all night. The dance kept us in the fight because it was the dance we were fighting for. So I think this worked for me, and when we talked about it, it's a reminder that joy and dance in itself can be a form of resistance, and not, it's a way of staying alive in dark times. And so this is also some conversation that we had that I think it's nice to share with everyone about power and care and conflict and longing.
Yeah.
And this,
I love, this reminds me what the Pope said, Pope Francis, when he said, like, don't get sour.
Yeah.
Remember humor, like the power of humor.
Yes.
When times are mad and crazy and horrible, don't get sour.
Yeah.
And the power of humor.
Yeah. So I'm looking at time.
And also, it's so
Good.
yeah, time. No, I think it's the most. It's not at all pathetic to say that we need to love, and care and listen to each other. It's the least pathetic to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at time, and I know that there are questions either about some of the particular works or just to Tori in general. So I don't want to I just wanted to make sure that we also have some time for that. Yes, there's a mic. And okay, there's one over there in the back. And one over there. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for the talk. I have a thought. I couldn't really form the question in my mind, but something you said about fantasy being accessible to everyone really resonated. Considering the exhibition and also art making, and then it made me think when you said like it is accessible to everyone, but then there's a knowing that you can plan tomorrow is a big part of it too.
Yes, I completely agree.
And so I'm a bit curious about your thoughts about, I guess, what of fantasy, like the mechanism of fantasy.
The last thing, what mechanism?
Mechanism.
Yeah, mechanism
of fantasy.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think it's very important what you say, because if you are threatened and you don't know what your tomorrow is, or the next hour, or the next minute, or you are in a complete situation that is not in your control, I think that fantasy is not the first thing you go to, of course. So this, but I think I can speak for myself, because I don't know how other people work with this, but for me, I have used fantasy as a tool when I think the situation has been unbearable or difficult. I have used fantasy to project that struggle. So for me, it has been a way to escape a reality that I did not feel as like I did not feel comfortable or good, or like I was struggling in that reality. And I think that is why I create these parallel worlds. Maybe the truth is that it's an escape. And then these levels of escaping is, of course, different to every human. And there is a big difference of knowing that you can wake up in your own bed and not be driven away. Like if you live in Sudan, if you live elsewhere, it's a big difference. So thank you for asking that question. But yeah, no. Yeah, but still you don't need money, which you need for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Hi Tori, thank you for sharing through the work and the words. I have my younger daughter with me here today. Oh. She was at the opening and was fascinated by the mouse and the stories. So I'm kind of interpreting her question. And it's a bit of a low-hanging fruit question, but it's about your choice. And forgive me, maybe I should know this, but it's your choice that the more figurative protagonists are some kind of hybrid, almost human, almost troll. There's something about the scale. And again, this material thing, the choice for the materials we recognize, the things that feel quite of a classic sculptural work. This, you can tell this is not my 8-year-old words. The word she used was, why is it creepy? This one. She was interested, why was it creepy? She was trying to understand what she should be trying to find out through this physical form.
Great. I mean, I have, I think, again, it's like playing with scales. Thank you for your question. Yeah. I think it's about, again, trying to move the reality somewhere else than the everyday life. So to make those humans larger, I kind of make them something else than myself. And then I dare to put something or someone up the crutch, or like, because I have a distance to it, because it's not reality. It's like an adventure, or like an eventyr, or. So I think again, for me, it's about playing with scales, and then moving it to another place where the rules are different, or I can create my own rules. So it's like playing with this, I guess. But again, what's your daughter's name?
Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. So I think it's really good to just ask questions, because even though I made this show, I don't know the answers to everything. I think that's part of having the brain in the belly and not have, I don't think I have my brain here. It's like, it's here, and it's like the intuition that works, and I think I don't know exactly always where I'm going or how it will end up. And I think that is some of the main part of my praxis, to not know the answer. But I think the most important is to ask the questions. So, Melissa, good job. Yeah.
More questions? Yes. If not, I can have a question. Could you say maybe a few words about the sculptures and the relationship between the different characters that we see there? Maybe also with the title.
Yes, I mean, they are called mothers and child. So I think it's very much also about motherhood. And I became a mother. Even saying it sounds so weird. I mean, yeah, but I mean, look, you're laughing, and we take it so for granted that all of that should be like great, and we should have, like, I think there is, I don't know. That's why I made this. So I'm trying to figure out something, I guess. And I think they are very much about relationship, on the same level as like the cat and dog that are attached in the tail. And we don't know if it's a good way or a bad way, or if they're figuring it out, or if they're just stuck for the rest of the life in this marriage or in this, I don't know. And I think it's a little bit like, in this sculpture there is like one mother is blowing a flute into the other mother, and suddenly there is like this baby there, and maybe, I mean, between us, maybe that's like the modern EVF, if you know what I mean. But yeah, but and also like on this sculpture, the hands are grown together, and I mean that can be both in a good way or in a bad way. It's so complex to be in a relationship, and it can be difficult to understand yourself, and suddenly you're going to be with someone else, and then how do you deal with that? And also, if you expand that thought, it can be not just two individuals, but it can be two cities or whatever. It's Bergen and Oslo. No, I'm kidding. And I think, but I think it's also something like with this one. Yeah, I mean, this one, obviously, there's like this goose chicken pierced in the. There is like these two geese flying out, but now they are like flying into each other. I think it connects with these two hands that are grown together. And then there's like this chicken that hangs there, and that it's pierced for life. So it's like this new responsibility you have for the rest of your life, in a way. And then they are kind of attached, and you don't know if it's like a bad place or the best place on earth. I don't know. This we don't know. This is like the, ambivalence, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the shoes, not the shoes, but the shoes. They, yeah. yeah. Yes, I don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the shoes, are some of them, is it all made or is it also bought parts in this like big shoe shops?
So we've made all of them from scratch. Like there is, I think, 3 pair of these joggers and then 1 pair of leather shoes. And the leather shoes is made by my friend So Tokunaga. He makes amazing bags and stuff. Normally he would not make such big shoes. But he's amazing. I mean, you should check him out. He makes these amazing bags that you can have, but I should not talk about that. But yeah, so we made those, with help from him. And then the joggers we made with Antti and Lisa in the studio, and we created a pattern, and then I sculpted the sole, the sole, not the soul, but the sole.
Yeah.
And then we cast it, and then we make a mold, and then we cast it, and then we can add pigments and whatever, and it becomes, in the end, a shoe. The last day before the opening. Yeah. But they are dry now. So that's good.
I was thinking about the small pictures or paintings hanging around the installation, which I really like. And thinking, I think my question is, how did they come into the installation, and how do you think about them in relation to the big one? What are their roles?
Yeah. I think I just, sometimes I just bring something in the suitcase that I did not agreed with, because I like to have this, because I like to have these small things that I can just like put in if I feel like I need it or something. And I really was missing some, I don't know, it was just physical. I needed it there. And I think it's nice. Sometimes I think it's just a dynamic map again. Like, I felt that some of the big, I don't know what to call them, painting or sculpture, they were framed. So then I didn't understand quite, because I'm not that into framing. So suddenly I was like, oh, damn, I need some color here. And then Silja said it was okay.
But I think it's about like a interruption. And I would I would just say that it's like a stain i skoen, and that it's important to have a stain i skoen. A stone in your shoe. Yeah. So I think they sort of, to me, they have this, when you add this, it's like, what about putting this here? Or what about, and one of them, as you see, is like all the way squeezed into a corner, very untraditional way of placing works, for example. But they do this, like when everything just looks a bit too tidy and too clean, they create the great chaos that we need. And I think it's a bit of that. But
I think I think it's like if because but I agree. I think sometimes when it's so weird. Oh, it's going there. Yeah, it's going there. And then, but I think if I should do it sound-wise, it's like, okay, there's a ba ba ba, bang bong, and then that's what I sometimes miss, and then I have some stuff in my luggage that I can like, okay, you go here. Oh, thank you. Yeah. You make a mess. Yeah. That's good. Or like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't talk about the blue mussels, but I just put up a picture so we have them here. But
there's one more question.
Yeah.
Hi. I was just wondering how the carpets happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I get 1,000 thoughts in my head to answer that question, but I think I really love to try to create like one environment, like one kind of space, and I think of the space itself as a character, like that the space is the performer. And I think the carpet is some sort of drag. It's a drag show. It's the costume of the space, because the space normally have like these white walls, quadratic doors, all these very expected clothing. So I think the carpet is just like the drag. Yeah. It's the drag show.
It's a great answer.
Yeah. But it's always very exciting, that I have to say, because I have no idea how it will look, you know, and it's such a massive thing to ask the institution for. And then my job is just to pretend that I know it will be great. And I'm so super excited myself to like, oh my God, how will it look? But then I think I kind of also trust that massiveness is something that has a value, like something massive, that a massive volume. That's something in itself, that's a parameter that I know has a lot of power. So I guess I kind of lean on that knowledge, that even if the carpet, when it arrives, looks terrible, it will be massive. And massive is a value. Yeah.
If there's not any more questions, no, then there's a lot more we could talk about. But I guess then I will just leave it there with one last closing question, the very traditional one, I guess. What do you hope people carry with them after visiting Moonbag?
Themselves. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Oi, 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 oi. It ends with a disaster.